And we had said that we would start this at 5 on the dot. So we want to say thank you to everyone for joining us again at the Politeracy Class 101, the 7th cohort. What that tells you, all right, thank you so much. Thank you. What that tells us is we have had 6 cohorts so far as organized by the Electoral College for this amazing platform. This is the 7th cohort, and we have trained quite a number of people. So it's a privilege that you have taken this bold step to come learn about politics and governance in Nigeria. And we have amazing lineups of facilitators that would help us on this journey and this ride for the next 2 months. By way of introduction again, my name is Adeshola Aladesha, and I will be your moderator for this evening. I welcome you. Once again, there are a few ground rules. If we're not speaking, please let us make sure we are muted. I would like to see our videos because sometimes whilst the class is going on, it's helpful for engagement that we can see ourselves and we can see how well we're participating. If you can, please help us turn on your videos. But if you can't, it's not a problem. Just ensure that you have the presence of mind to listen and to take 1 or 2 things away so that we will not, at the end of the class, ask ourselves what we have learned during the course of this meeting. Also, during the facilitation by our speaker, I would like to implore each and every one of us that questions might pop up in our minds, but in order to ensure that this is a very, very well-organized session, I would kindly implore that we can put our questions in the chat box, but we will take the questions after the facilitations during the question and answer session. So without wasting so much of our time, I would like to introduce our facilitator for this evening, the one and only Executive Director of the Electoral College. His name is Kunle Lawal, as some of us know already. He's an entrepreneur, he's an idea generator, he's a politician, a TEDx speaker, and patriot. He has a keen eye for opportunities based on his experience in the political space, working with non-governmental organizations and the federal government. He is passionate about Nigeria, and he's someone you could term a detribalized Nigerian, beg your pardon. He considers his boundaries to be limitless, and he is really focused on changing the Nigerian narrative in political participation and with its tenacity. He currently serves as the ED, Executive Director of the Electoral College Nigeria, and he is the country lead of Word Chart. He was also once the acting National Publicity Secretary of the COA Party and the FCT senatorial candidate in 2019. Without further ado, with a round of applause, let's welcome to the virtual lecture, the Executive Director, Mr. Kunle Lawal.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here. It's a pleasure to also address this class. Lisa, if you can hear me, we could get the slide up now, or would you want to help with that, Adeshola? So thank you very much, Adeshola. Thank you, Lisa, Maureen, and everyone. Thank you, everyone, for taking your time out of your busy schedule to join the college. So this is the first class of the 7th cohort. And of course, I would like to say that this is a class, of course, that when we started from the beginning, we didn't think we would be on the 7th cohort. But, looking at everything and what we've done, we found out how important it is for the average citizen to understand the entire rules of politics and governance. And, from a what I call it, a non-partisan perspective. And of course, from a perspective that's more trained by love for country than anything else. So I'd like to welcome everybody to this class, 7th cohort. It's my pleasure on behalf of the board, which is the top hierarchy of the Electoral College. Of course, the region, which is the working arm of the Electoral College, and our well-wishers to most everybody here. So a bit about the Electoral College. We're here to, of course, walk through a module. I think this module is 26 or 28 courses. I think it's 26. 26 modules, which go expansively from walking you through politics. Now, I'm sure people will wonder why. Sometimes we get to ask the question, how would you know a good manifesto if you're not taught to understand what a manifesto is? I think, Adishola, somebody saying they can't hear anything.
Yes, but we can hear, or I can hear.
Okay. I don't know if anybody has a problem with this. Maybe somebody should just write in the chat box if they still can't hear me. I don't know. I saw someone, I think somewhere along the chat, someone said they can't hear me. Anyway, thank you very much, everyone. Adana, right? Thank you very much. So, like I said, you can't tell a good manifesto. Can't tell a good manifesto if you don't know how a manifesto is. You also cannot tell what jurisdiction or probably what a governor should be doing if you don't understand the jurisdiction of the office. You can tell what your legislator is supposed to be doing. You need to understand how these things. So hence the reason for the course. Now, the Electoral College, of course, is non-partisan, is a non-governmental organization. So we're put together by, of course, people that thought that good candidates can never emerge because the electorate do not understand them. And this is not about anything grassroots, middle class. The truth is, you need to be politically. You need to be politically. Hello. You need to be politically literate to a particular level to, of course, understand the workings of governance and politics generally. So we're going to walk you through a 26 course module. It's going to cover a lot of things from INEC to the judiciary, to the legislative, to local government, to councils and governance. You get to see the whole works, the whole beauty. I'm sure you've gone through your schedule and which is pinned to the Telegram group. So apart from the introductions, I think we can move ahead with today's class, which is, of course, a basic introduction to politeracy and governance. So politeracy is, of course, a term we use for political literacy. Could I have the second slide, Wumi? Thank you. So a preamble to it, of course, I'll try to, of course, define politics and governance. Most people tend to mix them as the same thing, but they're actually two different things. So politics, of course, we'll say is the vehicle to office. So depending on, that means any action or any operation that gets you into an elected seat. That's what politics is. And, let me give an example sometimes. On this matters. So if you're, let me make it simple. If you're in one of the big two parties in Nigeria, right now there are 18 registered political parties for functional political parties. So if you're in one of the big two, we'll say you're using a boat to go to the airport. Not necessarily all of us will get to the airport. If you're using probably a lot, one of the fringe parties, I would say smaller, you'd probably be in a what they call it, in a taxi that other people are sitting in. But the objective is, of course, going to the airport. All of you are going to the airport or car park. Now, governance in itself, governance is the airport. Now, it depends on what you are going to do when you get into the seat, of course. So now, it's good governance. I'll tell you, good governance clearly does not have any. It has nothing to do with with gender. Has also nothing to do with religion. Has nothing to do with tribe, and has nothing to do with age. Just like there are bad old politicians, there are bad young politicians. As there are bad male politicians, there are bad female politicians. Has nothing to do. Good governance is good governance, and the delivery of good governance is of course leans on the foundation of the understanding of the jurisdictions of that particular office. Case in context, I'll give you an example. So I'd like to congratulate everyone. We got the electoral bill signed. Congrats to Nigeria. Congrats everyone. During the course of that time, you would see a lot of arguments here and there. Nigeria needs Nigeria, the president refused to assent to the bill, the president refused to assent to the bill, the president refused to assent to the bill. And you had so many people, and including, let's say the average Nigerian, CSOs, and a lot of others, everybody was just talking about the president. They seem to forget a particular clause in the Constitution which allows the National Assembly to veto the president. Meaning we could have had this bill signed in November if we had a National Assembly that knew what they were doing. But of course, the National Assembly understand that Nigerians are, how would I put it, largely politically illiterate. So everybody just blamed the president, and it was fun to be pointing fingers at the president. If the National Assembly was so concerned about this electoral bill, they could have vetoed the president. They vetoed the president, especially when it came to finances, when the president made a move for reduction in their finances, accusing them of costing the government too much money. But they chose to veto what probably paid them. So you see, this misunderstanding of governance, of course, causes a little problem in the way things are. Well, anyway, governance also is the deliverables of the elected for appointed office, for development of betterment of living standards of the citizenry. Now, governance is everything that has to do when you're in an office. Now, most people, I'd also like to dispel one myth. And, it's a common conversation to hear, this is an APC state. This is a PDP state. There's no APC and PDP state in Nigeria. Everybody is sworn to the Constitution. Anyone even using a flag of a party while sitting down as an elected official is actually in conflict with the Constitution. But because we don't know any different and we don't seem to understand anyway, it is okay for us to do our usual things. But now, of course, we have time, so we're talking about it. It's totally wrong to have that because you're sworn to the Constitution. And whether someone is in your party or wasn't in your party, it is your job to deliver good governance to them, regardless of whether they voted for you or they didn't vote for you. So no case of 5% and 3% and 2%. It doesn't exist. So could I have the next slide, Lisa, please? Thank you. So regardless of that, so in politics, key parameters in politics, of course, are first the political parties. Now, you'll be learning a lot about within this course on political parties and their structures, but I'll just give a clear roof over political parties. Now, political parties are, of course, the only way you can get independent candidacy is not yet recognized by any electoral law in Nigeria. So some people have declared for president and they don't have parties, well, or governor or whatever. They don't have parties. I don't know. Anyway, we'll get there. Independent candidacy, of course, let me just indulge you. I'll tell you why it seems a little far-fetched. And here it is. As at now, Nigeria has about 176,000 polling units. Imagine having 2 polling agents per polling unit. My math is bad, so I'm thinking 2 multiplied by 176,000 would give you approximately 152. So that will give you about 252. Sorry, that's 252,000. Now multiply that by 5,000. You give each polling agent. That already takes you above ₦1 billion, and that's just election day. So yeah, you need that structure. Yeah, political parties are necessary. Independent candidacy is still a dream. Okay, fine if you're running for local government chairman or councillor, that would make sense. But any other way, no. Second would be the electoral process. Now, most people are a little bit phased here. Now, the electoral process, of course, is everything that takes somebody from aspiration to office. So, and we're all involved in the electoral office. So how many of you are members of political parties here? I'm sure we took a random poll during the class, and I think we had less than 42% of you guys in political parties. So that's being in the political party is, of course, part of the electoral process, because you can now judge the kind of people that emerge from the primaries. We are most concerned with when things are just thrown at us. Individually. I just say, okay, you know what? We are going to vote between the devil's son, and the devil's cousin, and we don't have a choice. And the blue sea. Okay, I forgot fourth, and then blue sea, and then you just, the real effect and change, of course, is within the political party system. If you can ensure that the right candidates come out, then if all the parties have right candidates, then we can say 1 million people vote for Nigeria, and we don't have a bad president. Then, of course, politics is also the electorate. Now, the electorate in Nigeria sorry to say, are the people who of course, vote during elections. Now, this changes from north to south to west, how they think, how they view things, how they judge people, how they think about, he was my secondary schoolmate. He now wants to be a senator before I am. Stupid. Is this, is that, is that. Anyway, that's all electorate thought processes. And of course, the electorate, they swing to different things. You see Christian, you see Anglican, you see Cherubim and Seraphim, you see Muslim, you see Ansarudin, you see, so many complex natures. But, going over this in full detail over the course, I don't want to elaborate fully on anything. So now, of course, the electorate, they are the ones voting. So they have their own thought process across a lot of things. Campaign and manifesto, of course, is also part of politics. Most people give their campaigns. I remember some people, somewhere, I think in Kano, sometimes in the Second Republic, somebody promised to put AC on the streets and people believed it. Trust me, it's been worse. There's been other stuff too done in the South, which were totally impossible. But, because people didn't know any different, they thought that was the future. Of course, also guiding politics will be the laws guiding elections, which of course is indirectly the Electoral Act, which of course we're celebrating today. And the year Buhari signed it for us, though the National Assembly could have gotten it for us last year, and they're acting like they had nothing to do with it. That person that is cooking the soup but acts like they're not in the kitchen as National Assembly. No offense in case anybody is in National Assembly here. So Lisa, could I have the next slide, please? Thank you. Okay, so governance now is of course concerned with one, of course, elected positions. Now, elected positions are those who have to pass through a particular election, that's pass through a political party, have their names on a ballot, campaign, and run on an election day and people vote into them. Those are elected positions. So you have councillors, local government chairmen, state house of assembly, governors, president, vice president, senators. They're all elected positions. Then you have appointed positions, which are places like, which could go as low as within the local government. You have people like, let's say, Secretary on Education, that's at local government level. And when you go up to state level, you have commissioners, SAs, PAs, SAs are special assistants. Some states have senior special assistants, public assistants, SA to the PA to the SA, PA to the SA to the SA, and then SA to the SA to the PA to the SA. Wow, I got that. Anyway, that's some funny states. Anyway, those are appointed positions. And of course, going to the federal level, you have ministers, you have heads of parastatals, DGs of people, different parts, parastatals, ministries, departments, and agencies. So all appointed positions. And in governance, of course, everybody plays according to the Constitution. Pre-class, we did the first 3 chapters of the Constitution. My busy schedule, of course, I have to apologize, has not allowed me to handle the other 3 parts, but I promise you before the end of this cohort, we'll handle the other part. The video is on the, for those who didn't watch it, the video is on the what do you call it, on the Telegram group. So I hope you guys will take time to watch it, because I think it was quite enlightening for those who attended it. I think it would be interesting. Of course, we all understand. Hello, office of the jurisdictions of the office of elected officials. So can a governor do this? Can a senator do this? Are constituency projects in our constitution? No, they are not. They were just put in by someone who wanted third term, and we carried it on from 2007 till present. It's not me that told you that, and I didn't call anybody's name. Anyway, but it's not constitutional. That's correct. Can a governor sack local government chairman? You can't. They're elected position. Elected position can't sack elected position. It doesn't work that way. Then, of course, within governance, we have the vuvuzelas of governance, which, of course, are that's, if you remember, South African Cup of Nations. The vuvuzelas of democracy, which are the 40 states, which indirectly mean the press. So the press is responsible for a lot of things. Though the press in Nigeria, sometimes they find it a little hard differentiating between aspirant and candidate. For this, you will learn this across the road, but let me just differentiate it here. An aspirant is, of course, someone who has wished to attain an elected office. The candidate is someone who has won a primaries and has been given the flag by his party and has his name on the ballot. They tend to mix a lot of things, especially with all these, people like me now. We still want to remain relevant. So if I want to use my name now and I'm going to a station, I'll just Kunle Lawal, senatorial candidate, this. Hey, we need to have titles now, so we need to appoint ourselves an African thing. But anyway, could I have the next slide? Thank you. Okay, so the target of this course entirely, as the whole module has 26 modules, the target exactly for this is first to ensure political literacy, and secondly to broaden the perspectives of common citizens. Now, I know I will tell you, a lot of Nigerians are highly educated. That's not what we're saying. You're of course highly educated. Political literacy is poor. And sometimes, as I found out, the higher you even are educated, the harder it is for you to understand the basic little nitty-gritties of politics. Because we also help you re-examine the status quo as you see it. We hope to eventually encourage political participation as we move along. And then we will do one final thing, uncover the myths of political participation. Now, most people think it's hard to join a political party. They think it's hard to rise up. They think it's hard to be part of the system. It's not hard. But, politics, I don't know. What would I call them? I think I can call them a pseudo cult. So they just kind of create this I don't know what will I relate it to. I'm kind of thinking of. I don't know why this is coming to my head. I can be childish sometimes, so pardon me with this. So Scooby-Doo is coming to my head. You know the way in Scooby-Doo, the ghosts always have something serious, and in the end, when they walk into the house, it's just somebody with lights switching it off and on. That's what politics does. They just create that charade, man. A message to the government, man. You think they are doing some big serious things? They lie. They're on Instagram checking girls out or something. They don't do anything really. Most of them, I'm not saying all of them, but no offense. I'm just saying politics shrouds itself like it's more complicated than it is. But the truth is that politics is actually very simple. You just need to know left from right, what you can do, what you can't do, and you got the hang of it. Could I have the next slide, Lisa? Okay, so in conclusion, Nigeria, of course, is the most populous Black nation in the world. One thing I hope you would understand and take away from this class from the beginning is that you need to understand that if Nigeria fails, the entire Black race will fail. We have 5.4% of the world's entire natural resources. We're the sixth most populous country in the world. We need to participate in elections. One of the most damning things was 84 million people registered voters in 2019. 73 million had their PVCs and only 28 million participated in elections. And what's most heartbreaking is that in LG elections, in Lagos State, we had less than 5%. In Abuja, we had less than 3% participation. I'll tell you something. Apapa, the money that comes for it as a local government in allocation is over 100 million. For Abaji, that's a month. For Abaji in Abuja, for those that will understand what I'm saying, Abaji is where you pass and buy orange or akara when you're going to Kogi State. Abaji's budget is 7.8 billion naira a year. AMAC goes up to 156 billion. Would you allow, in a place that has more than at least 3 million voters, 3 or 4 million voters, you know what it is? That only 3,000 or 3,500 will determine a chairman that sits on a budget of 7.8 billion every year. I think we need to rethink politics and exactly what we think about it. Thank you. This class was just introductory. I'll take questions you have on the class and what we've gone over. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Edie. Thank you so much, Executive Director, Mr. Kunle Lawal. That was a lot to take in. I am still putting everything together, even as you have shared. A lot of thoughts are running through my mind. So we'll look at the chat box. Does anyone have a question? This was just introductory, and I want to believe that you have whet our appetite. We long for more. I personally want to hear more and touch on some of the things that we have talked about, but I would like to know, for our participants in the class, do we have any questions? If you do, please kindly show by show of hands. You can put up a show of hands via an emoji, or you can type the questions. Okay, Nafiu Seni Gulumbe, Okay, you have a question. Please unmute yourself and we will take your question now. Nafiu. Hello, Nafiu.
Yes, thank you very much.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Let me also thank the Executive Director, Electoral College, for this wonderful presentation. I have two questions that I want to ask. Number one, he made mention that an elected officer cannot sack another elected office holder. So, but I don't know how you relate it with the issue of recent happenings, like when former President Olusegun Obasanjo, I think, somehow sacked the governor of Plateau during the issue of Plateau crisis. And then the other question I want to raise is that how will he relate also the issue of how governors, they are like dictating for chairmen, their local government chairmen, they are dictating for them some of the money that is allocated to local government administrative authorities. They are not being, they are not with them. They are like the state governors are the ones in charge of taking care of it or dictating for them how to spend it, where to spend it, something like that. And this is what is obtainable in my area if in case it's not happening in some states. Thank you.
Okay,
So thank you
so
very much. I didn't catch your name. Nafiu, I didn't catch your name.
Nafiu Sani.
Okay, Nafiu Sani. Okay, I was correct. Nafiu. So President Obasanjo did not sack then Governor Dari of Plateau State, if I'm right. Yes, it's Dari. Dari was held on corruption charges and he was impeached by the House of Assembly of Plateau State. Yes, with Obasanjo, of course, the president then, a young democracy, of course, he played the fiddle, but it is constitutionally provisional that the state house can impeach a governor. I believe the deputy governor of Zamfara was just impeached. And I don't even understand that, because if you follow Nigeria, we play a lot of things. What's in our constitution is that their tickets are joined, and I would refer to the case. I'm not a lawyer, but I'll refer to the case of Lion in Bayelsa State, which his deputy governor had a falsified certificate, and it cost Lion the governorship race entirely. Now, a deputy the only person that wins a primaries, and you learn this somewhere down the course, the only person that wins the primaries is the governor or president running, and then he picks his candidate. So it's one ticket. If you impeach one, you've infringed on the second. But you know, Nigeria, we play funny games a lot. So I wouldn't say it's constitutional, although the constitution doesn't also say that you cannot impeach a deputy governor. So it's a dicey thing. You know, we have to continue interpreting. And this comes from the weakness of legislation. And I keep saying it, that the problem with Nigeria is not the constitution, actually, if you look at it. The problem is that the constitution hasn't been amended multiple times. So now I look at Nigeria in its entire democratic fourth republic has amended the constitution less than, of course, 400 times. Not quite, okay, the constitution clearly had deputy governor card, but in the case you understand why there's a conflict in that. But I don't want to start to open your course right now, but you get to that part. There's a conflict somewhere. And your second question, Nafiu, was what? Nafiu? Is Nafiu still there?
Hello, Nafiu. I think he's...
Okay, it's okay. I probably have missed this. I noticed a question. People were talking about, he spoke about autonomy of the local government. I remember now. He spoke
Yes.
Thank you, Diango. Yes, how LG are overrun by state governors. Now, according to decree, I'm sorry, I said decree. Sorry, Executive Order 10 of 2020, President Muhammadu Buhari stated that the legislature and the judiciary of local governments should be autonomous. Here referring to, of course, council within local government, and the Constitution also provides for the local government to be autonomous. Governors have infringed on that. And, you know, it's kind of funny, and there's always this argument with the federal. State governors say they want to have control over their resources, etc., etc. But the truth is, they have not granted local governments that autonomy. So how do you want that autonomy from the federal? It's an argument, it's an ongoing argument. Governors actually infringe on the Constitution a lot. I'll tell you, if you grow up in the 80s, has been nullified by the courts. It's an executive order nullified by anyway, I don't want to talk about that. We'll get to that part. Let's not go into I don't want this class to go into any other class. What is that the percentages of citizens registered for voters' cards, even within the Constitution, of course, local government should function as an entire tier on its own, not as regards under any states exactly. State government function. If you grew up in the 80s, as I was saying, you'll notice LHAs, that's local housing authorities, LPAs, local primary health, this thing. And I remember Algon then giving cars to the police. The questions are becoming too much on the chat box. Algon giving cars to the police. And, you know, the local government was really doing a lot of things, water, etc. They were more functional in a military rule than they were in a democratic rule. Before you take the next question, Adesola, I want to state this. Somebody mentioned Fourth Estate. The Fourth Estate is the press. That's the nickname of the press. So the press has a function in governance, bringing out tidbits. According to the Electoral Act, if they interview one candidate of any party running for a position, they must interview all other candidates across board. The press too has broken that one, gone crazy about it. So let me take another question from someone.
Okay. I was hoping that we would take one verbal and one in the chat. Okay, so you have basically touched on someone who asked a question about the Fourth Estate. I would just want you to please address the difference between a candidate and an aspirant. I saw that question before we move on to Samson or Olusheye, who would have to unmute their mics. So you can just quickly touch on that, and I'll call on Samson now.
Okay, please. I think while talking, I said that an aspirant is someone who just, any one of us, like right now, it's campaign season. Kunle can say, okay, I want to run for president. Now that's his aspiration. You get, but I must have joined a political party, being a member of a political party because that's the vehicle, then open myself up to a primaries, won that primaries. When I win that primaries and INEC has ratified that I've won that primaries, then I've now become a candidate because I'm going to be on the ballot representing the party. You know, we don't have names there, but INEC prints out the names of people running from. So that's the difference between a candidate and an aspirant. An aspirant is just somebody that wants the power. A candidate who has gone through the hoops and is representing a political party on the ballot. Thank you.
Okay, great. Samson, can we have your question, please? Let's make it as brief as possible. We have tons of questions in the chat box that we'd still like to take. Samson, please. Hello, Samson, are you there? Your hand was raised.
I was trying to unmute, but
okay, go ahead, please.
It wasn't letting me. Well, thank you, Mr. Lau, for your presentation. So I was wondering if you could talk about party membership in the context of political ideology or the lack of. You know, as there's always a talk about encouraging people to join political parties, and that could be an issue.
Okay, let me explain something, Samson. First and foremost, I don't think any political party is bad. And here's the reason why. I always use this example. I've used this example for a while. I think it's a very good example. So Samson, I'm guessing, I don't know whether you watch football or not. The average guy does. No offense to the ladies, but I think I can explain this best with a football club. So Samson, do you watch football? Samson, are you there? Okay, averagely across, yeah, most guys do watch football. So if you watch football, you find out that sometimes your team messes up, you're unhappy, you blame the coach, you blame one player, you blame. So it's the players in the parties that are bad, not the political party itself. So the only way to correct that is, of course, join the party and get. I'll tell you, parties in Nigeria have very sound constitution, and if you're to follow how their constitution operates and how their plans and manifestos, party manifestos operate, I'll say the APC is like the Democratic Party in the US. They kind of believe in state interference in health, in almost everything you get. And then I think that's the Democratic Party in the US. Then the PDP is like the Republicans, who kind of believe in capitalist economy, everybody going out for their own things, handing over, getting rid of public assets and translating them to private assets so that government has less doing. And I think the SDP believes so much in an agrarian economy. The ADC is more about partnerships, movements, and working together in conjunction. It gets its name from even its thought process that the AU and every committee in Africa should kind of be like the EU. And that's ADC's thought process. So that's 4 political parties, ideology. And now the truth is, if you don't join a party, how are you going to necessarily effect a change? So you're not part of the party, and then you're saying this party is bad, that party is bad, this party is bad, that party is bad, this one's. You can't really do some kind of thing. So as regards parties, you just have to make your choice, try to make your own change in your own little space, try to climb up, try to move up, try to get something done. You can only change things when you're in the room. That I'm going to be honest with you. As much as you want to change it from outside, I'll tell you, even the smart guys that want to change things from outside, sometimes they don't even know where their primaries are because they've been so distant from the political party and they're just talking about their candidacy. And there was this brilliant guy whose name I won't mention. And in the end, he could not find where his primaries was going to hold. So in the end, you get to ask yourself the question: if you're not part of the system or not functioning fully within the system, you could be kicked out by the same system you're trying to be a part of. So political parties generally, they're like our country. They're a reflection of our country. Our country is not good, but that doesn't mean everybody in Nigeria is bad. They're still good people. So if you go in, you try to make a change, try to do something different, try to break the parameters. I remember when I was picked as National Public Secretary of Koa Party, acting National Public Secretary of Koa Party. It was quite a strife because I had just been in party like 2 years, but if you looked at my track record then, I built like 2 or 3 states for the party, and then I had actually put in such a lot of work. And I'll tell you guys something. I want you guys to be in this class with an open mind. Nigeria has a lot of anomalies which are not right. And if you want to dwell on the anomalies, you miss the purpose of class. So let's just say, let us pack our knowledge a little bit. And then let's just interact, and maybe we could get to know the Electoral College could learn from you and you could learn from us. Next question, Adesola.
Okay, so there's some questions in there. I want you to take it to this too. One about basically your thoughts about independent candidacy and how it can work. Someone asked that how can independent candidacy work in our time without a strong and large party structure as we have in the PDP and APC? And the second question would be, what are the main functions of a political party?
No, let me take the first one.
Okay,
so the first one I touched on earlier. I didn't say directly word for word verbatim, but I had touched around that. I mentioned for presidency, independent candidacy, because Nigeria is a big country. It's not that, it doesn't make sense. Even if they allow it, it's so much hard work, trust me. I kind of see it breaking parameters at the local level, especially for councillors and local government chairmen. There you don't have up to, at least if you have a few wards, most places have 12 wards. So yeah, local government has 12 wards. If you're running for councillor, 1 ward. So it means just the ward is just a few streets. You could break into that system using independent candidacy. But if you're now going to be going up to governor and senator, I think is a long shot. It'll be really hard without a party vehicle and just a name. But I'm not saying it's impossible. But for president, I honestly think it's impossible for now. And that doesn't mean we shouldn't sign it into law. It's not law yet in the country, but I think somewhere along the line, put it up. Let me have the second question. Thank you very much.
Okay. What then are the functions of a political party concerning national affairs? Did you get that?
Is the party an incumbent? You know, the first two questions you're going to ask yourselves are: one, is the party an incumbent party? Meaning, are you the ones in power? Or if you're in power at any other level, it means your function as a political party is, of course, to live up to what you've promised the citizens your party will do. Free education, this, that. Though free education is already provided in the Constitution, though we don't actually practice it. But the truth is, if you're not an incumbent and you're in opposition, your job is not to say the president's leg is too short or the president's leg is too tall. You should be debating policies, say explaining why this should be this or that should be that. So political parties have multiple functions. One of them is, of course, to of course project or to help lift up the political consciousness of people, which of course I think we've turned into an insult match. Idea of political party participation is who knows how to throw the most jabs on social media or reporter or while talking to the media. That of course I wouldn't view a function of political parties. Yes, competition between political parties is healthy, but when it makes total sense. And I think we're dwelling too much on independent candidacy, please. It's not yet law in Nigeria. It's not yet Nigeria.
It's not yet law. And people are asking how.
I just said, is the Electoral College under INEC? I like that question. I stated earlier, we're non-partisan, we're non-governmental. Do we work with a few of these bodies? Yes, we do. Do we have some partnerships? Yes, but partnerships to the point we're trying to achieve an aim and not that we're trying to get co-opted. So the Electoral College loves its freedom as a non-partisan and non-governmental organization. Do we work with government? Yes, on some levels. Yes, we do. Do we have partnerships with some government agencies? Yes, we do. And we worked with them on some parameters. Yes, we do. But we're non-governmental and we're not under INEC by any parameter. Thank you. I saw that in the chat.
Okay, good. Joseph Udo, you have a question after you, Rogers. Joseph, please. Can we have your question?
Joseph is not there. Let's the other.
Okay, Rogers, go ahead, please. Hello? It's hard to hear you. It's hard to hear you.
Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you so much for the amazing presentation. Yeah, can you hear me?
No, we can't. No, we can't. It's breaking up.
It's really bad. Could you type your question? Because it's really bad.
Can you hear me now?
Yes,
it's still a bit. Okay. Go ahead, please.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead. Go ahead, please. Okay. Oh, we have a question in the chat box that says, constitutionally, does the political party have the power to expel an LG chairman? That's a question for you, Mr. Lawal.
Expel him in what parameter is the question I ask? Expel him from the party, yes.
Okay.
They're independent, yes, he has the power.
Okay. Okay. He's writing on the party so they can sanction.
They can from the party.
Okay. Okay, that was the question by Abib Wali. And then Mr. Shweta has been asking a question, which I believe, well, he says that what is responsible for low turnouts during voting, even after having thousands of people registered as eligible voters, You said what could be responsible for low turnouts during election? Well, we have a lot of people, and people have their varying thoughts, but I guess he wants to hear from you what you think could be the cause of that, the reasons of low percentage of citizens turning out during elections.
Okay. First, we don't turn out for elections because we're politically illiterate. If we knew the consequences of us not turning out, voting can be rigged until you choose not to turn out. That's when they'll use the inadequate PVCs to make another vote that doesn't count. So, but that's even a little bit altering what it is. The fact we don't turn out for elections is I don't know how to say how bad. I've never seen a nation that complains so much and yet cannot translate it to political currency. So nobody really knows the reason why we don't turn out. We are just assuming that if people knew better, they might give more. And that is our angle of thought. And we've seen it happen. If places the Electoral College has worked, things we've done, debates we've even conducted, and we've seen the way we held the debates got more people interested than the average, what are you going to do when you come to office? So I think because politics has been made to look like, I don't know, it has been shrouded in something, it's I think that's the reason. And people think no matter what they do, they have no choice. And that's not true. But it's what's sold. I'll be honest with you that even those that don't want the best for the country sell that idea so that they could be in politics. As some in power, they could be in politics, and the right people that are supposed to be in politics and also supposed to participate in politics don't come. Someone says, is Nigeria ripe for a multi-party system? We already have a multi-party system. Ripe for a multi, yeah. We have a multi-party system. There are 18 political parties. If you choose to focus on 2, then I think that is your choice. There are 18. So, okay, Joseph says his question was about independent candidacy and it's done already. We've spoken about that already. So, there are any other question, Alicia?
Dukas, Peace, Dukas. Please, can you unmute yourself? I see that you have a question or your hands are raised. Can we have you, please? Dukas, Peace.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Good evening, sir. Good evening, everyone. It's a privilege to be here and I'm enjoying the moment. Okay, my question is there a time bound for registration of a political party? Why I asked this, before the electoral process, like before campaigns and everything starts, is there a time bound for it? For why I asked this question is because of what is going on presently in the country of a third force coming, and then some people are saying the third force is not yet a political party and blah, 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 blah. So I don't know if it's going to be a political party. Like, is there like a time bound for such registration before elections?
I don't think that, of course, you can't walk into the game. And this is me thinking, you can't walk into the game when the game has already started playing. So, of course, there's no time limit, but, according to the timetable by INEC now, primaries for president and the 2 legislative houses at the federal level, House of Rep and Senate, are to be concluded by July 31 to 2022. And then for State House of Assembly and Governor will be conducted by August. You can't start to sneak in a political party now. I'll be honest with you, there are more than 106, is it, or 7 registrations right now pending in INEC's hand. So if you want to register a political party now, you probably 108. There are so many to go through. And Nigeria is at a point where we, of course, I don't think we need more political parties. I ran for Senate in 2019 in FCT Abuja. And I remember looking at the ballot and I was confused. And I knew quite a lot politically. I conducted primaries, done a lot, but seeing that ballot with 92 parties, even to find to vote for myself was a problem. So you get to that point. So yes, are we ready for a multi-party system? Yes. Do I think that 18 parties is too much? I still think it's a tad too much. If we could compress it down to 5, I think we'll be fine. But the problem in Nigeria is that parties are not built because of a particular ideology or people coming together. They are built because a set of people just want to kidnap power. Yeah, that's one of the things, take power. That's one of the reasons for a political party, but it shouldn't necessarily be the only reason. And that's how I've chosen to see it. So thank you, because is there a time limit? Yes, of course, must be within the frame of election. So if you're registering any party or all the pending registrations, where they'll get a clear or go ahead will be post 2023 elections. They might even get it during the elections, but they won't be able to participate because the time limit for them presenting candidates might have passed.
Awesome. Great question and great response also. Dari Job, you have a question? I see your hand raised.
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yes, I can hear you, Dari.
Thank you for butchering my surname, Adela.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
Mr. Lawal, thank you for this initiative. What I wanted to ask is, could you please share your experience when you ran the race, so we could have insights into what this game is like. A lot of us look at politics theoretically. I mean, I'm almost 40, and I'm not going to lie to you, I have no idea what jurisdictions are. I had no idea about this constituency project. Essentially, a lot of us are walking around as functional illiterates. So, and there's nothing as powerful as stories. So could you just tell us a story about your adventure, and then we can pick some insights from there? Because I know you're not going to go into the main lecture. That's going to be over 26 weeks. But you could just give us an anecdote now for us to see the process through your eyes and the shiggy that they showed you. Thank you, sir.
That would be a very tight spot. So, okay, what here? Excuse me. Gary has had me laugh. So, thank you very much, Dari, for that question. So, what exactly? What do you want to hear? What are my experiences? I'll tell you one of the most memorable one. I'll tell you the 3 most memorable ones. The first one was somebody's talking about cross-carpeting in politics. I'll tell you a story about cross-carpeting and how I cross-carpeted. Maybe you would have a different thought process about cross-carpeting after I finish this story. So I think I start with the cross-carpeting part. So I was not acting national publicity secretary of Kowa Party. And at the time, Kowa Party was considered, one of the ideological parties, forward-thinking, quite advanced. We had done a lot of things. No offense to Kowa Party and whatever. I was a member of the National Executive Council, being a national figure within the party. It gives me that the National Executive Council is the highest decision-making body of a political party. So no decision can be taken without us sitting down. Now, this is surprising. I was sitting down at home and I just turned on the TV and I caught Channels TV and I noticed our then secretary signing with CUPP. If anybody remembers 2019 elections, CUP was that alliance with PDP and whatever. Anyway, I was running in Abuja and the present incumbent, who is still the serving senator, Kowa is no more in the game. It's not among the 18 parties. So he's in the game, he was in PDP. And we called a NEC meeting. What's going on? Because I went to the NEC, we have a WhatsApp group, and I was like, what's going on? We joined a partnership with PDP. How? Number one, this, according to the party constitution, this must be ratified by the party before this happens. And the presidential candidates, they expanded the meeting to a little bit, to talk to a few of us. And I remember the presidential candidate for Kowa then telling me that, do you know that all the parties in COP, you will now present their presidential candidates, then all of them will run against each other, then whoever wins. I laughed when he told me that, and I was like, I grew up in northern Nigeria. The next time you have this kind of political wet dream, that was the exact word I used. I said, next time you have this kind of political wet dream, go and stand in front of Atiku's campaign office and say what you just said again. Anyway, the argument went on and on and on. This was not a decision taken at the NEC, the National Executive Council. I gave them a clear parameter. To either rescind this decision in 3 days or I will leave the party. Let's note this was 3 months to the close of primaries, and I was already projected as FCT. I was already running for Senate. Now, this was a tight situation. I was going to, if they thought I wouldn't leave because I was running for office, thinking that I would leave the party and not have a party to fly. In 3 days, when it wasn't done, I wrote my resignation on all parameters. I resigned on all parameters, wrote my resignation as a member of the party. And I remember it was one of the best decisions I ever made. See, I was this popular, but when I put out that I left KUA, and based on what parameters I left KUA, I became this popular because I stood for something. So I cross-carpeted, yes, but for reasonable reasons. So I don't know about other people's cross-carpeting. Me, I'm telling you about my own cross-carpeting. And this is live experience. Anyway, we know what happened with COP. Everybody presented their presidential candidate. So it even failed, which meant I was right from the beginning. But which meant I ended up going to the Alliance for New Nigeria, which was Fela Durotoye. Fela Durotoye was presidential candidate. And as of then, they said they were not going to present a candidate because I was running. They felt I was good. Django, let me answer, what party am I in? Being the executive director of the Electoral College, I cannot affiliate with a party. I work with every party. So I'm for everybody and I'm for nobody. So back to what I was discussing about as regards the party. So I moved to Alliance for New Nigeria and I pledged my tent there and I ran for office. I'll tell you, a lot of people stood by me because I stood for something. It was not about joining PDP. It was that the joining PDP was not a constitutional move by the party. It was taken by 2 people who took money. I don't want to mention names or whatever. So that's one of the accounts. That was a big thing. Trust me, it was a very big thing. They were calling me the CR7 of political transfer then. So it was a really interesting thing. So the second thing I'll talk about is my primary is even in Alliance for New Nigeria. So the chairman of the FCT in Alliance for New Nigeria, I've suffered in this life. The chairman of the Alliance for New Nigeria in this life, he was a cousin to the guy running APC for Senate. And everybody knew who the Kule kind of was. I was even given the tag young senator because I was slim. I was always wearing university jacket, school one. I was enjoying the party lifestyle, not like now that I'm become elder. But then I was not yet a Jagaban. And I'm a fairly used Jagaban. So back to that. So he promised his cousin at the primaries that he was not going to allow young senator emerge. So he refused to do a primaries. He just tell us the primaries tomorrow. Prepare, all delegates come. Chairman will miss. Secretariat is locked. He kept doing those kind of tricks. This was 36 hours. This was now 36 hours to INEC's close. I called the party chairman, that's national chairman, and I said this was what was going on. And he was like, Kule, you have to use extraordinary means. I said, I've gone through the part because I'd helped a lot with political party constitutions. So I knew political party constitutions. I've worked on 5 or 6. So yes, I'm not affiliated to any political party. I'm for all parties. We have consultancies with the ADC, APC, PDP, SDP. The Electoral College has all that. So I cannot be partisan because of our work. It doesn't allow me. So 36 hours to the close of primaries by INEC. This guy was nowhere to be seen. I called the national chairman and I told the national chairman, you know what? I'm going to have to pull my primaries. Let's make this happen. I flew the deputy vice chairman who was conducting primaries in Maiduguri. I brought him to Abuja. All this occurred in 12 hours. It's like 24. That was the way it was counting in my head. I wasn't sleeping. I was counting like 24. You watch 24, the way it counts down. So it was kind of like that in my head. And, we pulled the primaries. I got INEC, I got police, I got the delegates, I got everybody. We pulled the primaries, of course, ratified by INEC. 4 hours before the close of primaries at 8 p.m., I was declared candidate, Alliance for New Nigeria. That was probably the worst 36 hours I have ever lived. At the cost of, let me just tell you, I pulled my own primaries. I'll tell you at the cost of 1.75 million naira spent in 36 hours. The third thing in my experience is most people think that they are fighting everybody. Wait till your school group knows you are running for Senate. Crack any joke there. You'll be like, oh, so you think you're better than us now? Start bad. Do you know what it is to tell you hear people say, man, they're going to vote for you the night before elections, man, they're going to vote for you, man, you are the man, this, that. Then once you just drop the call, you just see a WhatsApp message. We're not voting for you except you clear this our bill of our drinks. This realistic. There's so much. See, there's so many stories I can tell you. We will not leave here, and you guys will enjoy the story. So no, we're going back to the class. I've entertained you too much. Bye-bye. Thank you very much. Could we have next question?
Thank you. That was quite an interesting one. Okay, another question from Njoku Toby. Okay, Toby, Jude, Nana, you have a question. Your hands are raised. Then we move over to the chat box. Please unmute yourself and ask your question. Jude, Nana.
Okay. Good evening. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Yes,
good
sir.
evening.
We can hear you.
Good evening, sir. Thank you
evening.
so much for this opportunity. We are really enjoying the class. Okay, my question is this. There is this headline on Sahara Reporters that Buhari should hand over power to me, says Tinubu. My question is this.
Two?
Buhari should hand over power to me, says Tinubu, the national leader of all Progressive Congress. Bola Ahmed Tinubu has had the president, Muhammadu Buhari, to hand over power to him when he leaves office in 2023. My question is this. Is it possible in Nigerian politics, as an insider, for an incumbent to hand over power to an anointed candidate?
Yes.
Bypassing all the political arrangement and make it possible.
Let me explain something. I'll give you an example. Politics is like any other game. We're the ones that just make it so hard. Now I'll give you an example. If let's say, okay, you're in real estate now, Mr. Toby, right? You're in real estate now. I'll be from Adrian Homes, you're in real estate. So I'll use an example in real estate. So imagine you got to work with Adrian Homes for example, and you're the number 2 man to the CEO, and the CEO wants to go into retirement. He'll try and ensure you're the next CEO that carries on his strength. Same way with politics. Obama really wanted Biden to become president. Of course, didn't work when Obama was stepping down, but eventually the Obamas were instrumental in Biden getting into power. There's nothing wrong with that. The only thing is that you need the people and you need to have a following to pull that off. So I'll be honest, let's try to stick away. No offense, Sahara Reporters and co. I know the damage they did in 2015 with a lot of things that went through. The truth is that the press in Nigeria, let's be honest, they send us on wild goose chases, which we shouldn't be caring about. If you don't want Tinubu to win, and this is I'm not saying Tinubu, let's just say if you don't want a candidate to win something, join that political party, try and become a delegate and then vote against him in the primaries. That's your strength now, or vote against him as a voter. That's how you achieve such. If you're not doing that, then everybody is free. It is constitutionally provisional. Mr. Toby, you can declare to run for president today. It is your constitutional right. Even this guy, what's his name, Reverend King, that is in prison, did he not declare to run for president in 2019? It's constitutional right. It's everybody's constitutional right to want to be president. But the truth is that only the electorate can allow it. So nobody is imposed on you. You probably, the same us that are here speaking English now, if I come out today and I say, okay, Electoral College, I'm giving everybody here. The Naira is not that interesting these days. I'll give you $250. Vote for me for president. All of you vote for me. I don't have to give you $250 in currency. Maybe I'll just help somebody here, help somebody there, help that one there. You say, Akune is a good man. He has structure. It's politics. The art of convincing everyone you are the next best thing. So ignore what Sahara Reporters is doing. You don't want that, work against it. You want it, support it. That's the truth, Mr. Toby.
Okay. Great one. Someone asked that, are there any major factors to consider before joining a political party?
For me, I'm going to be honest about this. There's no difference in any political party as I've seen. I walk across a lot of them. There's no difference. Who would have thought in ANN, where there were so many smart candidates, that the chairman of the FCT is going to rig against me, a candidate in the party. That happened. Well, there is no good party. I'm being honest with you, and I know all of them. I know the whole works. This is no offense I'm saying all of them. Not all of them are bad. So work in your own space, join a political party, do what you can, change what you can, and walk away. You can't do more than that. And I hear a lot when these ideological people who have not run for office before or done some things or worked within party system are talking about Nigeria. And there's this fictional political party they want to create in their head where everybody's good. It's not possible.
Can we have that?
In Nigeria, can you put 10 people together and somebody is not trying to steal all the dollars? We see what happened. Let me give you an example. I'm sure all of us live somewhere. Let me give you an example. How is your estate group? The WhatsApp group for your estate, how is it? I'll ask any one of you. Well, expand it. That's Nigeria. That's political parties. End of talk. That's my case.
Okay.
This class is extending. Oh, this class is extending.
Okay, let's just have one more question. Wari Boko, believing. I see your hand up so that we can quickly conclude and wrap up. Believing, Wari Boko, I hope I got your name right. Please, sincere apologies. Kindly unmute yourself so they can ask your question.
Okay. Can you hear me now? Good evening, everybody.
Good evening, we can hear you.
All right. So let me just thank you guys for what you people are doing. I am someone actually that growing up, I had this interest in politics. Because I believe personally that politics, because of what it brings, is actually the platform through which I can be able to bring development to my area. Because we are so developed. Now, having said that, we have seen the way state governors have been able to cajole Nigeria, the citizenry, into believing that the problems that have been bedeviling in this country is actually at the shoulders of the center, and is whoever that occupies the office of the president. Now, if you look at, you've talked about the issue of local government, governors almost controlling everything they do in office. They can just remove them, appoint critical committees. Constitution actually is not in support of it, but this is fall through because, again, courtesy of our system, politically, all these are games, like I said, politics. Now, the question I want to ask is it fair for anyone to say that state governors are more powerful than the president of this country in terms of, what these people have been able to perpetrate in the system, and they all fall through? The deputy governor can be impeached and the governor stays in office, an assembly member can be suspended, and this governor can just decide to hold an executive council meeting in his house, and this is fall through. A budget can be passed in 20 minutes, and this is fall through. And can we now say that the state governors are more powerful than the president of this country? That's my question.
Sir, what's the name again?
My name is Wari Boko Believe. I'm from River State.
Yes, I know from the name. Well done. I would say something to you, and I'll say you asked me a question that you already have given me an answer to. The most powerful, they are not supposed to be most powerful, but according to the constitution, but the most powerful right now, according to the system that has been created to function outside our constitution, of course, our governors. It's why, personally, my own personal opinion, not the opinion of the Electoral College, and I must correct this, I never will support state police because they already have kidnapped the judiciary, they've kidnapped the local government. The only thing left for them to kidnap is security. Governors have kidnapped everything. I remember governors in the 90s, I don't know, or growing up in the 90s, governors used to drive their own best line up and down. I remember when Donald Duke took over, he used to drive himself. Now governors have private jets. You can't even see them. Some governors, like a governor not far away from you, has up to 4,000 aides. I didn't call anybody's name. If you call anybody's name down, you get your mouth. I didn't say anything. It's hilarious that we've never noticed it. And if you look especially towards the east and south, and southern Nigeria generally, the lie sold is that the center has kidnapped their money, has taken everything, has stopped them from doing anything. But the truth is Does federal allocation still come every 28? Yes, it does.
Yeah.
During COVID, apart from the fact that their allocations came, federal government still provided 1 billion naira, and the World Bank provided 1.1 billion naira also to governors. But what did they tell you? Because of COVID, they couldn't pay salary. I think people are not asking the real questions. You know, the truth is that we do not understand that. I look at governance. Let me explain in a very simple way. I look at governance like, you know, waters. So I'll explain. The president is the ocean. We're always blaming the ocean. Anything, transformer, ocean, 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 ocean. When you have pond behind your house, local government chairmen and councillors, who are, of course, the ponds behind your house. And those ones don't even have immunity. Now, I'll say it here. The local government do not have immunity. You can sue any local government chairman. If you find out he's taking money, whatever, and he says, sue him in your state, so let me give you dubs. If you go and sue him in your state, you know what will happen. Especially you from Rivers. I won't say anything more than that. So you can't sue them. And we don't even hold governors who are supposed to be accountable to us for anything. All we just do is you dislike the face of the president, you dislike his weight or where he comes from or whatever, and you start. I'll tell you something. The president is not as powerful as you think he is. Governors actually they have more effect on your life than the president. Please, why are you concerned with the president? Disturb your governor. Nobody disturbs governors. They walk around like kings of New York, or kings of Lagos. And you know, it's highly surprising that they have and not that I'm saying this, but if you look at the system, they have a lot of support, like with what happened with the executive order, which allows for, they have a lot of support from the Senate, because that's where the next set of governors are coming from, or that's the retirement house of some governors. So they work in conjunction to seal and protect that madness, and they've taken a lot. So you have your answer to your question actually. Now, Adishola, for the next question, I think we should I want this to be gender sensitive. I don't know why no woman is, the Electoral College is very.
Question. No, but
no, woman please has asked me a question. I remember that, but just one woman. So I'll take a question from a woman.
Okay.
There are 75 people here, so there should be a woman that will want to ask a question. Please, please, okay. You people say you want to participate like us. We are giving you the opportunity, please. You are an equal opportunity.
Men have been asking most of the questions. All right. We have a lady who wants Adana Deze Yokisu. Does anyone have a question?
Don't say we didn't support female this thing. Now they're giving you guys chance. You guys, where are you guys? Hello, where are you guys? So that we can close the cards.
Yes, yes.
Please,
so
nobody
should round this off at 6:30.
Repeat what I said, please, publicly. I beg. Somebody saying Kunle say governors have shoulder pads. I'm on there.
We have an iPhone person. Your name is not stated. Are you female? Fearing. Okay, Fearing, I cannot pronounce your surname very well, so that I don't murder it. You can unmute yourself now. I think you have a question.
Okay, good evening, everyone. Thank you so much. I've really gained a lot from this session. My question is majorly about has to do with mental illness and politics. I know that most people that go for posts, that they don't get to go for any psych evaluation or anything like that. I don't know, because it seems as if some people will get there, they'll say they have to do this, but they are doing something else, and those things seems as if around like, how would I put the word? That many are mad, but only few are roaming.
See, you wanted to arrest me, Abby. Your question is very abstract, but it's very true.
Thank you, Fearing. Okay. Go ahead.
So I'm going to attempt to answer this. So when you cheat in class to pass, You know, you can't show off your 93 or your 97 that you scored too much. You just keep quiet. I scored 97. Yeah, you just quiet. You know, especially let's take us back. That time jam chokes. I don't know what they call it now, but my time it was.
Hello, Edie.
So hello.
Okay, go ahead.
We called it chokes in our time when jam was leaking and people were scoring funny scores. When you collect that, you must give back to whom it is given. So people running for governor, I'll tell you, the campaign limit for running for governor is about, I think, 100 million. But I can tell you that no governor that has won that seat won it without spending at least 3 billion naira. That is true. So even if breaking the Electoral Act, which of course we the citizens don't even know the cost, that's another problem. For president, you can't spend more than 1 billion. For governor, 100 or 200 million. And then for Senate, 40 million. For House of Rep, 25. For local government chairman, 5. For councillor, 2 million or 1.5. I can't remember. Anyway, there are stipulated amounts for these things. And when they borrow this money from people and they expend this money, how can they do what you sent them to do? They will do what the people that gave them do it. So you want someone to break into the parameter and do what you want to do, then you as an electorate, carry your Dorime money, go and put it behind the candidate. I trust my Lagos people now. Every Friday, they will light something. And, hey, they brought the bottle. It's not the same bottle you still drink normally. If you put that behind the council or behind an LG chairman, you might be able to dictate what exactly goes on within your parameter and help things go up. So it's who invests that gains. If you look at American people, Obama was writing thank you notes, I think, till almost the end of his first term. He's broken a record. He's raised the most money with crowd-funded elections. But the truth is, when you get into that kind of place, it's not that they are mental, but whoever pays the piper dictates the tune. So look at it that way, and then try and play from that parameter. You are not invested. Like my friends. I'll give an example. I have friends in Lagos who run fintech companies, and when the CBN laws are coming out, they were all screaming, and I said, "Come, wait. Which person in the National Assembly did you help get there? Which person can you that will now protect you and say, no, legally CBN cannot do this, that. But the truth is, I said over 3 billion. So the truth is, you cannot get someone to do. So it's not mental illness. It's that the people that are running the show are the guys that give the money. So of course they will tell you for your votes, you will find yourself voting for them. But the truth is that you didn't invest in them. Instead, the Nigerian electorate takes, and I've been a candidate, I've seen the world from different angles. So I know how it feels. As a candidate, you walk into a place, that's the end. Where you used to watch football, once you put poster, I'll break it down now. Somebody asked what my story is. It's very simple now. The moment posters came out, my landlord increased my rent by 75%. Say I have money to throw away. When I heard I was candidate, most started running around like a mad person. But we, the electorate, take. You feel that when somebody is a politician, you should take from. Then how do you expect him to deliver governance to you? I don't understand. You've already collected your dividends of democracy now. That beer bottle he bought you, that Jameson he bought you, for the girlfriend, that car he bought you, that house he bought you. You've taken don't say he doesn't pick your call again. Why will you pick your call? Did you not you took reward before the soup, you took meat from the pot before the soup mature now. Let's leave it at that. Thank you. How much is the limit for House of Assembly? I think it's 5 million. 5 million.
Someone asked that, are there any other roles for women in the party system aside from being women leaders?
The truth is that no, Joseph, let me ask to correct Joseph. These limits are there in the Electoral Act. It is only left for us, the people, to enforce. If you do not enforce, the Constitution is not going to stand up and hit your head. It's not going to. So are there spaces for women? There's no limit to who takes what. A woman can be a chairman of APC. A man can be a chairman of APC. But I'm going to ask you a real question. Are women ready to participate? Everybody's saying men are holding power. I'll tell you a real life story, a real life scenario. Anybody that was in COA would know this. when Professor Remi Shonaya declared to run for president, we felt within the system that it would be good if we have a woman. A woman has never held that ticket in Nigeria. And you know, that was what made Kowa look good. And people thought Kowa took 3rd in the elections, but man, Kowa took 10th or 11th safe. So you get, people thought it looked good. But I'll tell you about her primaries. All the women that were doing this, that. I was director of strategy at the time. I saw the who voted who and who voted what, because me, I couldn't vote, and I was dealing with collation, so I could not participate. But I saw who voted what. Guess what? She only won that primaries because men supported her. And I'm clear on this. And this is a truth we are not ready to face yet. And let's not just go into it, because the truth is, everybody screams, let's get women out, let's get women out, let's get women out. Well, yeah, which women now? Which women are you bringing out? That's the question we're asking. Which women are pushing these women out? So there's no limit to what a woman can be. I even hate that post of woman leader. What the hell? Why don't we have man leader? So he just created one funny post for women to just take. As really, and you guys accept it. What that women leader and say you're going to hustle the rest and face the men face for face. Number one, I don't believe anybody can win an election in Nigeria without a woman. It's not possible. I've run for office. I know the strongest people during my campaign were my essays that were female. I was even beginning to wonder, wait, is it school lady are talking about? Come, you guys. We haven't even started classes, and you guys are enjoying it. This is just open.
Okay. Thank you so much.
You guys are enjoying.
We don't want to leave. It's been an amazing session. I want to say thank you to everyone. This is almost 6:30 already. There's somebody else raising up his or her hand. I don't know if we can take that. So Lunimi, are you female? Devin. Toluwanimi, Devin Alimson.
I am a male.
You don't want to.
Okay.
I'm a male. Okay, so thank you, Honorable, for this gesture.
Not honorable, Senate is distinguished.
Okay, distinguished.
Yeah,
okay, thank you for this. Thank you for this time. Thank you for this season. Thank you for this lecture. Thank you for this initiative. We have actually started enjoying from the first day. So I can imagine what is going to happen, in the process of the whole series. Now, I've asked 2 questions in the chat hand, but I think because I was inside the bus, so I couldn't actually talk. That's why I had to write it out. Now, I asked 2 questions. One of them is, I believe that, now I just want you to actually say a yes or a no, not direct explanation like that. I think I might have an idea. I believe that the electoral amendment, that electoral bill that the president just signed, I think the reason why he didn't sign initially was because he saw some things wrong with it. I think he mentioned some section or something, 12 or 80, 12 or something. Now, and he had already made mention of that to the House and told them to work on that, remove it entirely, which of course I think is the reason why, because he had mentioned it, is the reason why he now decided to sign it. I guess that's what happened. That's my first question. And the second question is this. In the case of Edo State, where the governor sacked majority of the member of the House, and left the few ones that are in his own party. Until now, since he has been there till now, nobody has said anything. Nobody, not even the activists in Nigeria, has actually said anything. But said,
State House of Assembly.
Go ahead, sir.
Is it the State House of Assembly you're talking of?
Yes.
He took off their roof now, if I remember clearly.
Yes.
Well, you can't sack them now. They are elected.
Well, because what we have noticed is the fact that he's working more with the ones that are inclined to his party than the larger ones, that are not in his party. He actually defected.
Yes,
so he's ignoring.
That's up to the people to take it up.
Okay.
Why haven't the people, and I'll ask this question, why haven't the people recalled those ones that are in the state house of assembly that is working with? You can recall them now. Your PVC has two uses. One is to vote, the second is to recall. Yeah. Well, that, but why haven't they recalled them? It's simple now. You checkmate the governor. You know, the truth is that I think we've played politics to a position where we don't get ingenious. The governor wants to work with such people. I'll give you a simple solution. To impeach those people, I can tell you none of them won with more than 7,000 votes or 10,000 at most. Is it to gather 5,000 people, everybody that wants the future for Edo State, gather 5,000 plus one and impeach all those guys out for each constituency? And they are done. Who is the governor going to work with? Governor cannot dictate such matters. And then once you do that, you can ensure that before the next ones are elected, it will only be the ones he's refused to work with that are the elected ones. And then you, of course, tell them to make a move for impeachment. They impeach the governor. It's a very simple case. The truth is that we're not looking at, we just want to do things the old way and expect a better result. It's not.
Actually, I believe that I already saw your answer coming because of some things you've said already about us in Nigeria as politicians and then not working with the Nigerian constitution and everything. So I think I already saw the answer coming. So it's fine. Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you very much. And that's an interesting question. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. We see your comments. We're glad that you enjoyed the session. Please look out and be ready to join us again tomorrow, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m., where we'll be taking on the executive. We'll be talking about that tomorrow, 5 p.m. to 7 p.m. right here on Zoom. So please keep your diaries open. Make sure that your schedule is free during that period because it's yet another engaging and enlightening session that we hope to have. So a big thank you to our Executive Director at the Electoral College, Mr. Kole Lawal. Thank you so much for being with us. We want to say a very big thank you. Demlala Olufemi, sorry, we have closed. Your question. Please, we'll take that.
Electoral College NEPA is taking light. So you guys, thank you so much. It was a great conversation. I look forward to tomorrow. Based on a little this thing, I'm the one also taking class tomorrow. But from after tomorrow, okay, you my place for a while. So thank you guys. Look forward to tomorrow's class. Everybody, please try to be timely. 5 o'clock. Have a great day. Enjoy yourselves. And good night from the Electoral College. Thank you very much on behalf of the board and on behalf of the region, which is the working arm of the Electoral College. Thank you very much, Adeshola, for hosting this class. Adeshola, I should learn to speak English like you. I really want to learn to speak English like you. Anyway, well, you know, I took a pidgin English session the other day, so I think that's why my English is still bad. So you guys take care. You have a lovely evening, and thank you for the Electoral College. Goodbye, everyone.
Bye. Bye-bye.